There we go. Now I have audio. Now where's the other guy? Oh. Oh, I gotta hop worlds. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing altogether. Return to the title screen. I was on my main character. Ah, there he is. Okay. We'll do that for now. I got it. There you guys. While we wait. There we go.
It fills you even now, doesn't it? The hunger to bite down on my jugular, to feel the warmth fill your mouth and run over even as you drink deep. Good. Good. A test of your...
There we go. Now you guys should get that whole joke. A test of your reflexes. Alright, anyway. Mute A. Open volume. And there we go. No one will ever forget that time their reflexes got tested on the edge of the universe. Alright, let's do this. And Tataru says... Magnarmus, how lovely to see you. If you're not in too much of a rush, I was about to make a pot of tea. Would you like a cup? Sure. Take a seat then. I'll find us something to nibble on as well. We've already fought nihilism at the end of the edge of the universe, so now what's our questing for us? Donuts and cupcakes and muffins.
It's so much quieter these days without everyone around.
Fill up my water. I'll be right back while this plays. Still listening to it, though.
Not that I'm pining for your return, you understand. I have my sources, and I know that each and every one of you is doing well and keeping busy with your endeavors. Meanwhile, I'm left with a surplus of free time and the question of how to make the most of it. What about you? Any plans for the immediate future?
A brand new adventure, of course. Here we go. I came back. I heard it. Now the picture's still
Traveling to the
under
edge
a
of existence and back wasn't
water,
enough.
so I gotta be right back.
Well, if that's the case, I might have a suggestion for you. You've fought bravely and selflessly, helping those in need and saving our star from unimaginable threats. For your deeds, you've been hailed as the champion of Eorzea and a host of other incredible things. But why not put those titles aside for a while? Acquit yourself as a simple adventurer again, and travel the world in search of wonder.
You're right, but who knows what mysteries are still waiting to be discovered.
Oh, that's the spirit! I can feel from here the blazing fire that just lit in your belly. Now, all you need is a destination. If you're having trouble deciding, just leave it to me.
But luckily, I've unlocked flight in all the
Savner,
zones.
that's where you should go next. I doubt you were able to squeeze in a proper tour of Radzat the last time you were there. What with the burning skies and rampaging monsters and so forth. And I'm sure Vritra would be pleased to see you.
Oh yeah, I should check in
Then
on
there's the bounty
President
itself.
Dragon.
The Empire's presence in the region was always a deterrent to exploration. So if you've a mind to sail that sea, now's your chance.
Shra 2024.
Just think of all the new experiences you could have.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? As the bearer of Azem's crystal, you may consider your duty to see at least that much.
Oh, I know that look. That's an adventurer ready to take on the world. In anticipation of an occasion like this, I was planning to gift you a new set of traveling clothes, but it's, still a work in progress. Shouldn't take much longer now, though, so sit tight and I'll have the last few bits sewn up before you can finish another cup of tea.
Mute that too. Oh, 6. Make sure it has pockets. Yes, pockets are important. Internet here. There we go.
Stitch in here and trim in there. Knot the threads with love and care. Just a little more to go. I'm sure you're still brimming with excitement. I'm one with the needle. See how the fabric surrenders to my whims. Don't worry. I'll make sure the lining has plenty of pockets for all your little treasures. I swear adventurers are worse than children when it comes to hoarding every feather and leaf and animal hide they come across.
How long is this gonna take? Jeez. Fall asleep again.
Oh, we mustn't forget the waterproofing. Gods forbid you forget to disrobe before plunging into the sea, or a river, or a piping hot bath.
You left her alone too long and she's weirder. is returned.
Ah, you're awake. My apologies. I do get a little carried away with my sewing. You seem awfully cheerful. Pleasant dream? Or are you just looking forward to the next chapter of your grand saga? Either way, I promise to provide you with new apparel, and so I shall. If you'll accompany me to the Diamond Forge, we can put the finishing touches on your outfit. Shall we?
He's still not done. Alright, to the Diamond Forge. Flying over this, to here. Talk to Jataru here. Observe an artiste refine as the artiste refines her piece into a masterpiece. And no napping this time. I only need a moment, you'll see. A little more room in the shoulders. All done. Let's see how it looks on the mannequin. Well, what do you think? Doesn't it just scream ready for a bold new adventure? I'm so glad you approve. You've outdone yourself, Jataru. Thank you. There you go. Alright. And now I'll throw it in the glamour dresser and never look at it again. Oh, stop. You'll make me blush. If you really want to thank me, all I ask is that you wear this on your travels. We'll see. Or at least wear anywhere lots of adventurers might gather. Look at you, a famous hero and wonder. Wherever did he purchase those stylish yet practical garments? And before you know it, hordes of new customers will be climbing over to each other to place their orders at Taru's boutique. Ah, I can hear it now, the merry clink of gil overflowing from my coffers, sweet music to my ears. But it is the best looking necklace in the game. Burgeoning merchant empires aside, you must be excited to start a fresh new chapter of your life. New places to go, new people to meet. I often wonder how you remember all your experience and exploits without taking at least a few notes. Oh, maybe you should start doing just that. You never know what some odd past detail might become relevant, or if one day you'll take a blow to the head and forget the better part of the past decade. Something to keep in mind in any case. Okay, here we go. Alright. Unending Codex. There we go. Hero slots in my inventory. Let's go through this in the glamour dresser real quick. Free up all those inventory slots I just lost. Roads are. There we go. Got rid of everything. And... oh, I forgot to pick up the next quest from. Oops. Oops. How bad? Now, on to the next journey. The next quest. As the former receptionist and sometimes intelligent gatherer to the Scions, allow me to offer you a word of advice. Do not expect juicy rumors to simply fall into your lap. Adventurers rely on gossip, and the best places to pick up information are taverns and markets. At present, you only have a broad destination in mind. When you arrive in Thavnir, I suggest you explore your options at Marid's Mayan, the finest drinking establishment in Rad's at Hand. Charm the employees, and they'll not only point you in the direction of the local tale-tellers, but also share with you the tricks for loosening their tongues. I really must be getting back on running my boutique. Enjoy the journey, Magnarmus, and may fair fortune find you. Alright, now I go to Thavnir. Tavern. A Marid's man. Oh, hello. I did not recognize you at first. Are you here alone? Let me find you a table. Everyone's beneath the bounty? Would you be speaking of the sunken treasure vault? We have one regular, a historian in fact, who could tell you all about it. Ah, there he is, Professor Jolene. I thought I saw him come in. Although somewhat of a private sort, the professor is quick to befriend those who share his fondness for the man's unique beverages. Offer him any drink from our selection and he should be happily share everything he knows about the vault you seek. A few other odd bits besides. Whatever you buy for him is on the house, by the way. If Murray had found out I took coin from Davner's savior, he would have me scrubbing pots for a week. Let's talk to him. Yes? Alright, let's do this. And what can I do for you, my Eorzean friend? Oh, just a friendly chat. How about a drink? Well, I certainly wouldn't say no to a drink freely offered. Oh, here we are, one of Myriad's finest. Enjoy! Lovely, bottoms up. Lane empties his cup in a single pull. That's very kind of you, sir. But I know when I'm being softened up. What is it that you want from me? Oh, chasing down that old tale, are you? It does seem to appeal to the adventurous at heart. Now, where to begin? Might I assume you heard of, Alzadal? He was Khan of the Ari tribe, which sailed into Thavnair from the mainland, and a key figure to the history of Reds at Hand. His decision to aid the Arcasadora is what ultimately won them the war against the god Jasura, thus allowing our predecessors to lay the foundation for this thriving city-state. The truly fascinating stories, however, concern his grandson, Aldzadal III, who was known for his deeds as satrap in Reds at Hand's early days. Some attest that this man traveled to another world entirely and returned with glittering riches. Others that he brokered an alliance with a certain worm of the first brood. And there is the tale of the sunken vault, the one you seem most curious about. According to this legend, Aldzadal III claimed a small island somewhere in the middle of the bounty. There he built a structure reaching clear to the bottom of the sea, a deep and secret storehouse, and locked all his worldly wealth within. In the centuries since, whenever a natural disaster or hardship befell Reds at Hand, would remember the tale of the hidden treasure. Hardy souls would set out to claim their fortune, but precious few ever made it home. Would you like to hear more? Apologies, I have a slight tickle and... Oh, my cup appears to be empty. Wasn't enough. I've had but one meager drink, my friend. Surely my learned wisdom is worth a little more than that, yes? Why don't you tell me something of yourself? I'm a far less fascinating subject of conversation, you may be assured. If you must know, these days I style myself a math professor of history, but in my younger years, I worked as an alchemist at the High Crucible. I was blessed with meaningful work, a loving companion, and all was right with the world until it wasn't. This is too fine a day for such maudlin talk. Please, let's have another drink and talk about something else. Let's give him another round. See, we've reached an understanding. You're a sharp one, adventurer. Oh, Oh, today was a splendid day to visit Mahane. Where were we? Ah, yes. Those who did return from seeking the treasure vault refused. I mean, flatly refused to speak of what they saw. Did this discourage others? Nay, quite the opposite. Such accounts only served to feed the legend, and the golden lore grew stronger than ever before. That reminds me of something Azama was saying. Azama's a fellow connoisseur of spirituous potables, yes? Yes, he is. Anyway, he was saying that all of his acquaintances after the treasure himself, he hasn't been to since he set sail. I hear, but he did have. No, I can't say no more. You seem a generous sort, and what kind of man would I be to encourage what is clearly a foolhardy quest? In my words, if my words sent you to your death, I could never live with myself. I'm no stranger to peril. Is that so? Perhaps it's your turn to tell me the tale then. What manner of dangers have you faced? The very edge of existence? From anyone else, I'd struggle to believe it. But I recognize you now. Hero of the final days! A drink! I need another drink to settle my nerves. Milial. More of the same, if you please. As you wish, but this one's on your coin, Professor. Oh, he's about done. Anyway, you being who you are, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to share a little more. This friend of Azima's, he was desperate to buy a treasure map, one which showed the way to the entrance of the vault. Seems he only could get it from some merchant. What was his name? Before I forget, let's drink a toast to you, my new best friend. Milial, more drinks. I think he's had enough. He likes prickly pear. Your drink, sir? Ah, marvelous. I'm parched. Jillian gulps down the cup of water. That was water! Did you tell her to bring me water? That's probably for the best. Very kind of you, really. My head will certainly thank you in the morning. I seem to have overindulged. I am put in mind of the words of Master Charlton. Be wary how much of the drink you swallow, lest it swallow you. Forgive me, I will subject you no more to these unseemly antics. And if you want to speak with Azama, well, as I said, we share a taste for man's fine spirits. He probably came in as we were talking. I wish you fortune in finding your fortune. I gotta look for Azama to find any. Ah, there he is. Yes, I am Azama, and who might you be? All true, I'm afraid. My friend took a ship out in search of Aldzal's legacy, and I have been watching for his sails ever since. I tried to dissuade him, of course, but he refused to listen. All he could talk about was finding that vault. And that look in his eye, I knew it wasn't common gold or jewels he lusted after. He's hunting Aldzal III's otherworldly hoard. And his ambition would not be denied. I see it in you too, that appetite for the mysterious and the unknown. But I'll not attempt to turn you from your path. I know too well the futility of that endeavor. So I will tell you what my friend told me. How he convinced a merchant in the bazaar to give him a rough location of the vault's entrance. It seems this merchant, one Zazal, I believe, is selling a map which shows the exact route, but my friend's purse was too light for his exorbitant price. With that meager wealth he had, he instead paid to learn that there are ruins on a small island somewhere in the Bounty, and within those ruins hides a path to the vault deep below. If you truly intend on seeking Aldzal's treasure, I suggest you put your affairs in order. I wish things were different, but I do not believe my friend is ever coming home.
Treasure map!
What's all this about?
My mother and father were slaughtered by monsters. My baby sister, still too young to fend for herself. Can you spare us no kindness?
So, you hope to find your fortune? And what? You expect me to surrender my wares for pity's sake? What have you to offer in payment? As I thought. Come back when you've more than rags to your name. This is no mere treasure map. It is a guide to the vaults of Arzadal III, one of the great satraps of Radzat Han, and a direct descendant of Alzadal Khan.
A map to Alzadal's legacy?
So he says. A fake, I'd wager.
This is no fake. The parchment is marked with an arcane glyph of passage. You may find the ruins hidden in the bounty, but you won't be setting foot inside without this in your possession. A priceless artifact it is, discovered amongst the rubble in the aftermath of the final days, and lovingly restored by yours truly. This map is the key to fabulous riches, and I'll be the king of fools to simply give it away.
Frank, why are you calling me?
Be glad I am no such king boy. Your scrawny-eyed had never return with that treasure alive.
Oh, cruel fate! Why must you tempt me with wealth I am powerless to claim? How I shall envy the one who purchases that precious map! Whatever they pay will be but pittance against the golden hoard they stand to uncover.
What of you, sir? Fighting man of your stature would surely relish the challenge of recovering Alzadal's lost fortune.
A fortune, you say?
If I had but the strength to seize that treasure, my starving sister would never want for food.
I'll take it. Will this cover the price? Well met, my friend. Someone is dressed for adventure. But why Favner of all places? Knowing you, I suspect there's more to your plans than sightseeing and shopping. Ruins beneath the bounty. Curious.
Oh,
And
Frank's
here
internet
I've acquired
died.
a map to just such a site.
With that sale, I do believe I've earned the rest of the day off. Thank you for your patronage, sir, but if you'll excuse me.
You needn't mind us.
And now I fleece one of the heroes of the final days. Pray the sisters were looking elsewhere.
This map may or may not be genuine. Either way, we'll need a ship to find out for sure.
You seem eager to be underway.
Lest you misunderstand, I seek the treasure not for myself. If such a fortune truly exists, then it could help ease the struggles of those who lost their loved ones in the final days. I hope to do for Thavnir what you and Alphino did for the Alamegans when you recovered the Mad King's trove. Come now. You know Alphino needs little encouragement when it comes to recounting the tales of your shared exploits. Speaking of precocious lads, that boy in the bazaar was clearly an accomplice of the merchant. Suppose his role was to draw the attention of the crowd and add weight to the merchant's bold claims. Transparent act for the most part. It was not all mummery. The need to provide for his sister rang true enough. Thus, if some portion of the profits end up in that waif's pockets, then I will consider it money well spent, whether the map leads us to the vault or not. You are coming along, yes?
Following the map. Naturally.
I thought as much. Now, let's see about securing a vessel.
Okay. You will recall I spoke of visiting Thavnir at Breacher's request. Well, he finally invited me to a feast, and made his proposal once I was too full of Hannish delights to refuse. He wishes me to train the Radiant Host in Lansford. But that is a tale for another time. What we need now is a merchant or a trawler with a ship fit for the open seas. Matsi is a fisherman by trade, yes? We should head to Akyali and see if he can help us. To Akyali. Very discreet. My friends, what? Oh. My friends, what brings you to our humble village? Do you need a seaworthy vessel to seek ruins? Considering it was your deeds which allowed me to return to fishing, I should think everyone would be glad for a chance to repay the favor. Wait here. I will have a boat stocked and ready for you in no time at all. Have you noticed our little shadow? He's been following us since we left the city. We see you there, boy. Show yourself. It is you. Do you know how far out of the way we walked so that you'd not cross paths with some wild beast? Sorry, sir, but aren't you the heroes who saved Thavnair? You are, I know you are. And I've gone and cheated you. I work with Lothal, you see, the map merchant. It's my job to play the pleading orphan, convince the crowd his wares are worth the price he asks. I'm ashamed of what I've done, and beg you your forgiveness. If not for you, my sister and I would never have... we'd be... Enough, I knew your game, and I paid the price willingly. A fortunate purchase, as it turns out. For my friend here was seeking those very ruins. You're trying to overlook the wrong I have done you. But there's more you need to know. The map you bought is very real, as it is the island it shows that I overheard Zazal selling information to another customer. He told that man when he needed to search about the ruins, about the vault, about everything. Then the man sallied out on his own fortune, never to return. You cannot go alone to that place. You should have more friends with you, maybe even a whole army. Do not doubt the ruins hold danger, but I assure you, between the two of us, there is little we cannot overcome. Please, I cannot bear the thought of... You might need a hand in moving the treasure. Assuming we find any still. It may prove wise to bring some companions along all the same. Any ideas on whom to approach? The Scions have scattered far and wide since our last gathering. Bring Stola. Stola. Her Majesty would be a most welcome addition, aye, but I am loath to interrupt her research. Mayhap we could ask a less prickly companion? No. Graha and Kryl? Kryl may have her hands full in rebuilding the students, but if you reach out to Graha, he surely would leap at the invitation. Alright, catboy, fanboy. Will that set your mind at ease? Yes, if that man is as strong as... Is he tough? Strong, I mean? What's your name, boy? Merad, sir. Well, Merad, your life is yours. Live as you will. But I suggest you find a more honest trade if you truly wish to keep your sister safe. I am not proud of what I do. But what choice do I have? We need to eat, and everyone's too busy rebuilding their own lives to bother with two grubby orphans. Wait, boy. I didn't take this roundabout road just to see you end up in some creature's belly. Let me walk you back to the city gates. Thank you, sir. Call me Estinian. Take the kid back. I shall leave you to recruit Graha. He'll appreciate the invitation that much more, I'm sure. As I recall, he was based at the Annex. Someone there ought to be able to point you in the right direction. Let's be off too, Merad. Do me a favor and don't stray from the path. To Old Charlene. An annex. Who it is? Welcome back, McNarmith. What might the students do for you? I'm looking for Graha. Yes, he's in the main hall with Mistress Cryle. They've been holed up in there for days. By all means, go and give them an excuse to take a break. Alright, Catboy fanboy.
Ah, Urgica, my good man. Would you be so kind as to...
Oh, isn't this a pleasant surprise?
I wish you had sent word ahead. I thought I was having visions for a moment there.
How's the restoration of the students coming along?
Slow and steady. Raha and I have been compiling old records of the students' activities.
Shouldn't you be
We were
recruiting new
able to
students for
locate
that?
several accounts in the archives of Numenon, but the bulk of our documents was lost along with the Isle of Fowl.
But what brings you to the Annex, my friend? Surely you haven't come all this way just to watch us shuffle dusty papers around? The treasure vault of Alzadal III.
And you're looking for companions to join you on this expedition. I would dearly love to accompany you, of course, but I'm afraid I'm committed to another task. On the subject of which, I had hoped to ask for your assistance. Then again, it's not so urgent that it can't wait until you've returned. You should go, Raha. I'll stay here and mind the shop, as it were.
Are you sure? I'd hate to leave you short-handed.
I'm sure. Just try to be back before too many moons have passed.
Well, I guess we're off on another adventure already. Have you asked anyone else to come along? Then might I suggest we invite your Stola? Ever since the Scions disbanded,
I tried to
she
say
spent
that, but
most of her
Estinian
time
threw that out the
cloistered within
window.
the Great Goobel Library, hoping to piece together a method to traverse the rift. It would seem, however, that whatever wisdom she sought there was not to be found. She arrived in Sharlayan the other day. We spoke briefly before she began her search of Numenon. Considering what you've told us of Alzadal's extraordinary feats, I do believe your Stola would be more than interested to hear what you have to say. Splendid! Then let us head to the archives at once.
Wait, before you go. I have another potential member to volunteer, if you've room to spare. Urianger. He sent the students a request for materials, you see. Treatises on the architecture of treasure vaults and the like. From what I can gather, the Loperites wish to build their own vault for the people of Atheris to explore, and are looking for inspiration to help make it a memorable experience. So, why not take Urianger with you? Let him study Alzadal's legacy firsthand.
None can deny the benefit of seeing something with your own eyes. If our expedition leader has no objections, I say we extend Urianger an invitation once we've spoken with your Stola.
Safe travels, you two. But don't forget, I'd still like your help with that other matter I mentioned.
Right. Then it's off to the library.
To the library. There we go. Found her.
I've never known your Stola to doze off in the middle of research before.
So we wait.
Close my eyes for one moment. Ow! How long have you two been here?
We didn't want to wake you.
Nor did I want to fall asleep. I must have been studying for 2-3 days straight before exhaustion finally claimed me. As you know, I've been researching ways to travel from the source to one of its reflections. Well, looking for hints at least. I don't expect to find a simple set of instructions tucked away in some dark corner of the library. So I've been skimming through the stacks, hoping to uncover even a partial mention of any similar feats in the past. A means to travel between worlds exists, and you can be sure I will find a way to employ it. So I promised Runa, but 'twould seem I've set myself a nigh impossible task.
You needn't be so hard on yourself. The leap I made with the Crystal Tower was not achieved in an afternoon. It was the culmination of a collective effort spanning generations.
Oh, you think me discouraged? I assure you, 'tis quite the opposite. A daunting challenge and the time to sink my teeth into it. I feel like a fresh-faced student again.
A scholar in her element.
Indeed. Was there something else you wished to ask of me?
About to go in a dungeon. Wanna come?
Alzadal is no minor figure in Harnish history, and much is known about his family. But this is the first I've heard of a descendant surviving a trip to another world. If those tales are true, then he may have left behind some clue as to how it was accomplished. An invitation to delve into one of the world's lingering mysteries. As if I could refuse. And whence do we embark upon this expedition?
Yeah.
Achiali, by ship. But before that, we thought to extend an invitation to Urianger as well. He was in Thalmazane, last we heard.
Then by all means, let us recruit him, and be on our way.
Man.
Ah, our illustrious champion. Cloaked in the mantle of the common explorer, fame set aside in thy pursuit of simple adventure. I am told a new expedition is in the offing.
It's good to see you well.
And thee. As ever, thou art the picture of strength.
You've been keeping yourself busy, I trust?
True to our plan, Thancred and I embarked upon a pilgrimage of sorts, with an eye for gauging the state of those lands through which we passed. Our travels were interrupted, however, by a request for aid from our befurred lunar allies. As you may recall, the Loperates had been seeking new purpose for the moon, another role through which it might serve to benefit mankind. The Forum hath been working to advise them in this endeavor, but I return to offer mine own counsel.
And this has what to do with treasure vaults, exactly?
Ah, you have learned of my predicament from Mistress Cryle. I know not whence they acquired such knowledge, but the Loporrits now stand convinced that adventurers delight in treasure hunts. Thus, with their newly built wonderland of riches and mystery, do they hope to entice all manner of daring delvers to the moon. So earnest and innocent was their desire to bring joy to the world that I found myself powerless to refuse them my cooperation. But what of you, my friends? Why are you come to Labyrinthos? Fascinating. This is indeed a most fortuitous opportunity. I should be honored to accept thine invitation. How long hath it been, I wonder, when last our actions were not impelled by fate or desperation?
Aye. Though I cherish the Scion's accomplishments, 'tis pleasant to not have the weight of the world upon our shoulders for a change.
Counting Estinian, we number 5 now, yes? Without knowing what traps or perils await unwary feet, we may be wise to refrain from recruiting others.
I agree. Between us, we should have the skills to handle whatever situation may arise. Shall we be on our way?
What, no time to spare a word for the grizzled old bard?
All is well, I trust?
A wasted trip, I'm afraid. I'd hoped to catch up with a former mentor while you parleyed with the rabbits, but it seems our paths were not to cross.
You're looking well.
That's because we didn't travel by experimental etherite. It's astounding what a lack of nausea does for one's sense of well-being. In any case, as we made our way around Ilzabard, we saw that much of the continent was in various stages of chaos. A certain amount of disorder is to be expected. The final days are over, and the people no longer have a common threat binding them together. That's the thing with these fledgling troubles, eh? You need to keep an eye out, lest they mature into full-grown headaches. So, for what reason have so many esteemed personages seen fit to gather?
We're about to run a dungeon.
Beneath the waters of the Bounty, you say? I see you've already stolen away my traveling partner with the promise of unexplored ruins and scholarly glory.
Nay, 'tis not for mine own indulgence, but rather the fulfillment of my commitment to the Loporrits.
Ah, of course. And if you have Estinian rounding out your group, you'll likely have all the members you need.
Feeling left out? I could put in a good word for you, if you like.
We may have been released from our obligations, but I'll never be free of that merciless wit of yours, will I? In all seriousness, 'tis best I sit this one out. Too many former scions consorting with one another might be seen as a cause for concern in certain quarters. I'll return to my usual reconnaissance and scout out the situation in the Far East. Feel free to share if you come across any interesting revelations.
No F's in chats.
Till we meet again.
Shall we also hasten our departure? Sir Estinian will wonder what hath become of us.
Alright, we're about to do the dungeon, Frank. How goes your internet situation? I send you a recruit to Graha, and you return with an entire survey party. I hope Matsia's boat is sturdy enough to carry us all. What he means is we are grateful for you, the use of one of your precious fishing vessels. We are more than glad to change for the chance to provide. I only ask that you take care to clear of the reefs and the shallows that hit there. Aye aye, we'll keep an eye out. Alright, don't crash the boat into a reef. Got it. I just finished Friends for the Road. Currently in Labyrinthos doing the cutscene I just did. Look at things. Odzal III. I confess I am somewhat embarrassed that the tale of his journey to another world escaped my notice. Could it be more than simple folklore? And what of this treasure he supposedly brought back? This undersea vault may hold relics from another reflection. My friends, we should temper our expectations. The map doth promise ruins, but beyond that we know not what we will find. Till we find it, aye. Let us dispense with the conjecture and set sail for the vault. Now you're in Thavnir, heading this way to do this. There he is. Oh, you can't fly here yet? I unlocked flying here a while ago. Dungeon unlocked, alright. Alright, while we do this... Who doesn't... See, item level 560. What are you rocking? Alright, let's get you a gear upgrade real quick. Let's see, where's the nearest place? Here, follow this teleport real quick. Actually, right around here should be the market boards. There it is. Next to the right. Alright. Gonna go... Penis. Search. Oh wait, it's searching level 81. So you want like that Diachodos revolver? How much gil do you have? First parts are gonna be your accessories, I bet. Yeah. You should probably look at replacing the accessories first. Machinist. 90. Alright, let me know what you're able to get. You have 600k. I have 300 I can spy you. Alright. Don't buy anything yet. Or tell me if you've bought anything. I'll give you a few pieces of gear. Or a couple. Alright, you bought nothing? Okay. That. See what we got for necklaces. Right. Bracelet. Probably be the last thing I can afford. Oh, shit. Damn, that's expensive. Alright, can't afford that. What's that one? That's 10. We can go with that. Alright, paid. Hit accept. Give me money. Keep the money for yourself. My character's already geared up. And this is a alt anyway. Doesn't matter. You'll need that to buy the rest of the gear. Go. Leave it at 0 gil. Equip those. Alright. See. Machinist. Oh, ring's dirt cheap. I can afford that too. There we go. That's about all I can spend though, because I need the rest to teleport. Alright, what's your number right here say when you look at your equipment? Mine says 593 there. What's yours say? 583? Alright, perfect. That we can do. Oh, sweet, insta-queue. That'll take us right back. We'll get you the rest of the gear after, We'll get you the rest of the gear on my main. Alright. Death to the lemurs. Let's go. Go. Ooh, magic bridge. Engine. That. Boss time. It's a jellyfish. Alright, get away from where the tentacles are gonna land, because they are gonna basically explode. Like that. again. And it's dead. And it's dead. Hey, you can use that ring for your gunbreaker and that coat for your scholar. You level those up. Next set. Do it again, do it again. That's how it's done. Let's go. guy spends his time shooting lasers! Reflecting them off shield. You want to stand where the shields aren't, basically. This part. Everybody's doing great so far on that one. If this guy does any tank busters or not. Alright, so he's gonna do that. Yep, right there, Kenji. There you go. Good shot. Good job. Ooh, there is a tank buster by this boss. Hit me! Alright, I hit you back. There you go. Oh. You can meet on that. And... okay. 2. Alright. Time for more pulling the dungeon. Final boss. Let's go. Massive healing. Alright. Let's do this. Plenty of practice at this during the Fall Guys event. Avoid the spikes. Leave now. This is your final warning. Tank Buster. Following Bolt. So get under the green one. The spikes. Oh, now he's gonna shoot. Yo, he's down. Oops, ran over the spikes. Oh, didn't make it. Oh well. I'll live. Spread out. Wrecked him. We did it. All right. Clockman is dead. Going to commendate my healer. They're the only one I can commendate. And we're going to pass on that. Well, that was fun. Hey, the healer commendated me. That's cool.
What have we here?
Voiced
Tis
cutscene.
not unlike a Hunnish alchemical furnace in design.
Well, there is one way we might find out.
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Vritra! Oh, my apologies. Should I continue calling you Varshan?
You may address me as you wish. My nature is no longer a secret. Still, this is not a setting I imagined for our reunion. Surely you've not entered these ruins as common looters.
Would that we could deny your accusations, but I fear you're not far from the truth.
Great Vritra, might we beseech thee to explain the nature of this strange contrivance?
It was crafted by our alchemists at my behest, for the purpose of sealing something away.
Sealing what away, exactly?
Perhaps I should simply show you.
Ooh, he's gonna open it.
I have lifted the seal, if only for the moment, by an authority only I possess.
A planar fissure?
No, my friend. Small though it may be, this is a functioning gate into the void.
Portal to the 13th. All right. Void gates and fissures are much the same thing in practice, in the sense that both allow the passage between the source and the 13th. The difference in terminology refers to the circumstance of their creation. A fissure is an incidental tear in the fabric between worlds, whereas the void gate is the product of deliberate action. I suspect this is the latter, judging by the elaborate mechanism put in place to control it. To think that our search for the material riches would lead in priceless discovery. That swirling emptiness, it puts my mind to old friends, not to mention old foes. Onto a brother's grief.
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory. An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Merasidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities. In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Voidsent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
I consider myself well versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
Indeed, I did. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya. We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me. I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes. Yet no matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength. I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her. And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Allagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Alag was dust, and the art to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
My discovery came before Radzat Han was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn. Their dedication was beyond reproach. Tirelessly, they worked to expand the fissure. And after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
With hope in my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of Voidsent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Razathan and abandoning your sister. And you chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy siblings scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness.
I remember when Nero turned purple.
Turned purple? Well, yes. His wounds had allowed the void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether. Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome. Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late. And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection. So when I sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course. I wish only to forget the rest.
We got our next mission at hands, guys. We're gonna jump through that void gate at some point. So they managed not only to expand the fissure, but also manipulate it as one might a gate. Astonishing. Is there any chance I could learn more of how this feat was accomplished? I will tell you what I can. First, however, I must return to the High Crucible and arrange to replace the Guardians you so handily destroyed. I will not do to leave the gate undefended. My apologies. We were perhaps a touch zealous in our rush to uncover the vault's secrets. If the constructs can be repaired, we would be happy to offer our assistance. It will not be necessary. Much as I retain the spare vessels for myself, we keep duplicate Guardians on hand for such eventualities. In any case, we should return to Razathan. Varshan, I killed all your robots and in your dungeon. Right, back to Razathan. Sean says. I promise we will discuss the Void Gate further, but first I must attend to the matter of the Vault Sentinels. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, the Kapikulu has been reduced to so much scrap. Please bring a new one out of storage and see that it is conveyed to its post along with some few lesser constructs. Was it Tomb Robbers? Beings born of the Tower of Zot? Quite the sisters. Do not tell me a blasphemy yet runs free. Nah, it was me. I did it. Yeah, we fucked up pretty good. Such guilty faces, surely it isn't you who are responsible for this. Oh. Well, the details aren't important. I shall see it done immediately. With that, the vaults will soon be secured once more. Now, I believe you had questions? Quite a few, in fact. But I'd like to begin with the gate itself. It is still functional, yes? Which is why I saw it sealed with an alchemically forged lock and warded with my magics. Such power must not fall into the wrong hands. In truth, the primary reason for the vault's construction was to keep the gate hidden from the outside world. So much effort for such a little door. Little door, you speak, it leads to an abyss teeming with unspeakable horrors. That said, in its current state, it would admit only the lowliest of void sin, and from this side, no man would be able to pass through. Oh man, but I should think Alphino would fit, given a firm enough push. Physical size is only one consideration. The true restriction hinges upon the etheric density of the soul in transit. And yet you succeeded in expanding this diminutive portal and sending your simulacrum to 13. Thanks to my brilliant alchemists, I should have destroyed the anomaly when I found it, but instead I bade them devise a means to control it. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which magics can manipulate the fissure and transform it into a serviceable gate. But the process has long been forgotten. Once I had given up the search for his Daya, there was no need to preserve such esoteric and dangerous knowledge. Thus the gate has lain dormant, for years uncounted. Our own passage to the 13th was made relatively simple thanks to the Crystal Tower. An ancient mechanism channeled the tower's vast stores of energy to open a void gate, one bound to a covenant made with the Cloud of Darkness. Once that sovereign entity was beaten back, however, the covenant was broken and the doorway severed from its connection to the void. Theoretically, it could be possible to reconnect the gate by forging a new pact with another void sin, but such deals usually end in betrayal and death. In any case, we should attempt to gain an understanding of the bounty gate. Mayhap you could resume your search for your sister. As I've already explained, I put those futile hopes to rest centuries ago. My place and my duty is here now. I had meant to ask, what prompted you to search the vault in the first place? To see if the legends were true. As you see, the fabulous wealth from the stories is quite real, if not rumored origin. But I'm afraid I must assert prior claim. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little. But the time has come to spend it. That I might alleviate my people's suffering. Then we are of one mind. We had no intention of taking it for ourselves. Isn't that right, my friend? Your Excellency, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I'll make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you and yours a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask of me, you shall have it. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Would that I could join thee in thy study, but the Loporits will be anxious to receive my report. I beg my leave of you. And I must be off to Charlayan as well. Mistress Kryl was eager to speak with you about that request, so please, come back to the Annex as soon as you're able. Farewell for now. We can discuss my findings once I return. You'll not be rid of me so easily. The difficult part in all this was deciding how best to put these riches to use. Will you lend me your assistance in these deliberations? Of course. Thank you, Magnarmus. Magnarmus and I are in this together. I will follow his example. No money. Meanwhile, elsewhere... I sensed the breaching of a gate, but it was not instigated from this side, thrown open from the other. I too felt our occurrence, yes, but such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There's more pressing matters at hand. An opportunity is upon us, coming of which we have awaited for nigh 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip our grasp. Yet we must not underestimate he who bested the cloud of darkness. Even restrained by a covenant, the cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Ah, let him come. I'll drown out the world and watch his flesh and grass gasp for breath in his final moments. Your zeal is admirable, but forget not our cause. Think back on our struggles beneath the sunless sky. Remember why we see not our will to fight. It's time we set the war in motion to win redemption for our star. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit the most monetary assistance. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with the satrap directly, so I would ask that you act in my stead. Narmis, you are to visit Akyali and Yedlimad, speak with Matsia and his people, and listen to their grievances. Justinian, I bid you do the same at Palika's stand. I will be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant Skull grounds. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Megaduta. Alright, going to Matsia. Wrong place. Not yet. Did I grab us a two-person mount? I guess I will. Oh, Magnarmus, I was so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You finished with the boat then? Yep. Anything the village desperately needs? Well, I suppose Kaozial's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it's not much more than it was before. Everyone still are struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. Speak with the locals and Deadly Mad. Oh, accidentally took off without him. Oh well, he's halfway there. He'll be fine. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Thavnir, then you must try my special Amra Lassie. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What could such a wonder cost, you wonder? Normally I part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil. But for you, I'm willing to go as low as an even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. Still not turning a profit these days. Times are harsh, my friend. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sisters, spare me. We might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself barely have coin to buy it at local prices, I tell you. If I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street. Now let's go to the other one. Everyone's broke. Y'all are a bunch of pores. How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? Trade routes are open once more, but now that only a small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. And to that, the sailors we lost in the final days, it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Kalzal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure he'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done, God's rest his soul. Alright, they're herding out here without Kalzal, that's what I've learned. Alright, back to Threads at hand. Into the Negaduda. Oh. Alright, guess I'm running there manually. What about... Okay, I can go to Fiverr's place. Go there. And run manually. Missing 2 more, but I'll get that later. Turn in this quest. My advisor's returned. I've just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. And there are a few places I can enter comfortably without the risk of flattening some cart or stall. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palakistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when the refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yedlimad. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like. And I was assured that the jungle provides for their needs, for the most part. Palakistan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant skull to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between compared to our best years. The weight of stone leaving Avner has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade so that we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akyali and Yedlimad? They're really hurting without the Kalzal. Ship their goods overseas. I see, without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch. Which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yedlimad. I am reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beast sunk their vessel. So many variations of some tragic tale, repeated over and over, so many lives lost. Him. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome, but we will not. Magnarmus Estinian, I will consider the perspectives you've brought to me and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries.
I thank you for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Alzadal's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlimad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalzal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen. our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
Taxes, levy them on exchange profits in exchange for your investment.
I see. We create a reliable source of revenue. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadal's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
With Cal's house. Appropriate?
A fitting candidate. Kalzal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Mirad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
Good old Ishgar. Restricted. And let's on to bridging the rift. Bridging the rift. All right. Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's name. Those whose lives he enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy honored. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Yashola. She asks that you meet her in the Heist Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood. Thank you. Yashola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Ahawan assumed the office. They will understand what needs to be done. And I am curious to learn what conclusions your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish. Allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. Resident Dragon. Are we done playing politics with President Dragon yet? I think we are. Go get the airship landing real quick on my way. So we'll activate the airship one, teleport to the main aetherite, and then run from there. Get on out of here. Yes. Yoink. Alright, now I can go to the main one.
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many Voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain Exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Voidsent's physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the Gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No. The danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Hell yeah. I did fight someone to the death on the edge of the universe.
Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive, and I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th, and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Count me in.
I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single Void Scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent?
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daimir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be
tested.
stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
The restricted section of the Hogwarts Library.
Yes, it may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves, I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Alright, to Charlene. If you were to enter Numenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss, then you must secure permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind. What of Scarlet Monteshane? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. It's settled. Let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scarlark. We were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety. Yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Demir has lain dormant in Charlene's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void? That is in fact precisely what we intend. What end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous! The audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and wherefores, I for one do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request to the Forum's consideration. Although your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortunault, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortunault on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well. We will pay a visit to the Levier estate and plead our case. One last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. So if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity... Of course, Scholark. We will be sure to pass on any revelations. Alright, now I gotta go all the way over there. To the Levier estate. Master McNormus, Mistress Estola, how may I be of service? We've come to speak with Master Fortunault. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the Master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well, Emeliance would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Like Montaigne expressed much the same sentiment, I assure you. We will not attempt to circumvent the forum's authority again, unless it's absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You understand that the restrictive archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend. A selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spent his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. It is no vital mission, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue, all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for cooperation. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Beldessian Annex. Let's go to our neck of the woods there. what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Charlayan, and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms, I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Is Frank asleep, or is he just muted again by YouTube? Yes, well, as I'm sure you're aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and bid you good day. YouTube meaning Fire Rat. Ever the same, that one. An uncompromising eye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlayan needed to guide it through not one, but two exoduses. Ah, he's here. Okay. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed of up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Focus will be on finding House Demir's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume? Presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Really? Alright. Ishola's accompanying me again on yet another quest. The studio. Head south. Ah, it's Puddingway. Run. There's Loporits afoot. Ishola and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Follow me if you would. Watch your step and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. I am on restricted reading.
If House Demir's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Check this weighty tome. Weighty tome. Says... Year 1564, the six Asferel are the Amalja some indifferent. Their patron god. Accounts describe the being as gigantic, lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. Consider that primal summoning as an act fueled by faith and prayer. It is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest in the appearance and powers which is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge in the ether should one who believes in it, in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of the encyclopedic wisdom of every age? Yet with no means to verify its pronouncements, how could one be certain they were true? That's not right. Epiphanies of House Demir, this is it. Finding apertures advised by Nishun, a 9th patriarch of House Demir. We must present these research notes to faculty Charlene Studium as both taken of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. I found it. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? I apologize, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Well done, Magnarmus. I think you have found our prize. Done. And the piano music is over. Or is it?
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about. Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures, a talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings reveal that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos. How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Voidsent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales. And still, House Damir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves. Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
As much as I would love to start crafting the Atamos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know of Hanish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in the House Demir project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature. I will be here. Patron mode disabled, security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavnir and look for her at the Great Work. To Thavnir. Stola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be a part of it? I have no doubt you will be interested. This research should long speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the Mark of House Demir! I never even knew such a work existed. You should. It's sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was? But that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. Forbidden tome filled with forbidden research. And you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? I can hardly wait to read it! Demir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you in helping us build a new Atamos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Demir project that had been redoubtable scholars of Charlayan trembling in their sandals. No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouth simulacrum once we've built it? There is a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made Atamos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need it to see it for myself. I think manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. By all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly once we've finished gathering the components I require. Charlayan's markets provide raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. With such a liquid, you need to go no further than the Font of Maya. The aesthetics of old once favored a place in their meditations, and the water which pools there is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vreetra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it, then? Meet back here anon. To the astrally dense pocket water. Are you on the same quest, Frank? And if so, do you need a lift? Guess not. Flying is important. Alright, anyway. Alright, got it. Back to the Great World. You had the flask for me. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, Magnarmus. Alright, Void Theory. Look who I came across. Justinian seemed to be in need of a diversion. And we, in turn, may have need of his lance. Right then. Now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. We will have need of Matzia's boat again. This time, once Istola informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akyali. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host, shall we? The ship is yours to command. Ah, thanks. We shall set sail at once. Oh, this is so exciting! Alzadal's legacy. I see the truth of a legend with mine own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vault. Speak with Nidhana.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
There is something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Graha theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the Void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts?
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
Maybe send a familiar?
Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences. Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born.
Water, water, froth and foam!
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Made that spell up when she was a child.
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual. In any case, these two should serve us well. This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nidana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
Do I give her shit? What do you think? Yes, give her shit. Froth and foam.
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know. Let us begin, shall we?
She threatened me.
Nixies, into the void.
to Shining Realms Renew!
Guard at the designated location. I like how she's doing the chicken dance there. In anticipation. Anna does chicken dance.
I think we've waited long enough. Nixies, return to my side. Thank you, little one. You did well.
Oh, the poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
We're out of time. I must reseal the Void Gate.
They're coming through! In the name of Alzadal III, I
Put it out of
bar
my
this door
misery.
unto the void! Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
Graha's theory was correct, then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation. It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget. that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. You remember Una Kalhai, the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad. He explained the fate of the 13th thus. The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether. By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition? I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way. But first I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could, if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives? Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then.
Trap's duty. Once Nidhana succeeds in replacing the Mach Atomos, this door into the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I have no interest in visiting the Void myself. Might we discuss this later? There is something I must do first. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? At least I had a good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Shall we proceed with our other preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the Void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemist who created it. Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? Ireland Ironworks. Excellent suggestion. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Let us visit their operation in Rogger's Reach and commission their best and brightest. Enormous, what brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president. Actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid, certainly. I'll see if he has a moment free. Pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. Need you to strengthen the warding scales for us against the heading into the void to find a lost dragon sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure, honestly. I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after meeting on in that bloody mess. Alright, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation. It seems some matter of corrosion has set in around a scratch on its surface, much as the void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds, in which case our best way may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. How might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate alchemical balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. We'll construct a protective casing, one utilizing metal alloys with high ethereal conductivity, so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. Suit of armor, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols, I swear. Never had such a reckless employee. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work. See how Nidana is getting on with the mock Atanos. The great work.
Hey, Stola! The adjustments are going well, I hope?
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Alzadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components. And I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos. I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
And were you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together. But I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Sir Estinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation,
It's okay.
did you
This is the
imagine
last
we would
quest. There's
begrudge
only like
you
2
your
objectives
heart's
left.
We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet...
Now you listen to me, Varshan.
See you tomorrow.
You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again, too.
Protect them well, you must take heart.
Take heart? and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you, and here I stand, failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ashdaya nor Radzadhan. My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavne for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
Take care, and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
You surprised me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vritra reach this conclusion. But for the greater good, the worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night, and had travelers believing this place was racked by some unnatural storm. What of your own answer, then? You seem disinclined to venture into the void? Was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts, his endless rage my rage, and the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Radatosker's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vritra that pain, then I will follow you. The four of us? With things as they are, I'd rather not bother our comrades with aught less than a dire threat to the star. It will make an interesting journey besides. Traveling in a smaller party for a change, crowds can be a bit draining, don't you think? Now on to specifics. Like the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13 has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan as such is to explore the void in stages, drawing to safety after each brief foray. It would be more convenient had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside Megaduda. Rides at hand. Turning this quest in. This will be the end of the night. And the completion of 6.1. So we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove and make room for two ready for habitation. Good. Please inform me when you've completed the arrangement. As you heard, we will have you settled in Megaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Ashdaya. Proving comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our exploration might possibly take, or what our chances of success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to make the attempt. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Nidhana. If you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. You know what this means to me, Magnomus, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveler and an adventurer at heart. This I know. And done. And that concludes 6.1. Meanwhile, in the 13th. Ooh, we got a meanwhile. A meanwhile. Oh, that's Xenos' void sin.
And thus I am returned. To this world, bereft of saviors.
Here we go. Found adventure completed. That's not Xenos, that's just his void synth that he summoned. And he became a Reaper. Reapers. Make a pact with the void synth. Let's see if I can find. Okay. Quick before I go. That up. and more stuff to kill. Now that I have built up that, I can merge with my Reaper just like merge with the Voidsent just like Xenos did. Have to find something else to attack real quick. There you go. Right. Anyway, let's call this a wrap. And call that a wrap. Disband the party. And I will catch you tomorrow. See ya.